See what they end up doing. It might not matter if they start proxy racks and gatewaying each other super early in the game. As we load on up, we will be starting in the top left-hand side with the red tower in play from Jin Air Green Wings. This is Maru.
And spawning over in the bottom right side is our blue Protoss, already up to something maybe a little bit cheeky here. It is sOs.
Probe wandering across the map yet again. Very early on here, of course. No gateway down or anything like that. Surely he cannot just go proxying up twice. He will not. Gateway drops in the main. Just a super early scout.
I think this is one of those things where you try and fake that you're going like a cannon rush or so, or just hoping that your opponent misreacts, because having a probe turn up to your base at kind of around the 40-second mark is ridiculously darn early, but Maru sees that there's no pylon being placed crazily. Also, with the probe turning up so early and not actually leaving to do anything, it usually implies that they haven't spent the time to sit and wait for a gateway to produce. So Maru can at least have that little bit of information on his side that there most likely isn't a proxy gate on his side of the map, at least not from this probe.
No, doesn't look like it, as you do see the SCV going to be with the probe having a little bit of a fight there. And eventually this probe from sOs is going to make its way out, back through into the main, or out through the natural and back across home. Cybercore will start before the Nexus, so perhaps some aggression, of course, from sOs. Get across there with an Adept early and put on some pressure. We've obviously seen kind of a weird set of openings, so we've not really seen a fight. Oh! Well, as that probe goes down, we've not really seen a fight, I was going to say, of an Adept trying to delay a CC outside of the proxy gate, so wow, a little Splatty will lift. That's such a mental win for Maru.
Yeah, I'll take a supply depot lift into a probe kill any day of the week. So he goes Reaper, Marine, so this means he's going to get a reasonably fast factory with this and just going to have a Marine back at home. He's already dealt with the probe, so he doesn't really need to worry about that staying on the map, and he places the factory a little bit further away from the barracks, and yet again, which usually does imply that you won't be going for those Hellions, or at least not a multitude of them. Back at home for sOs, he's getting Adepts. He hasn't gone for a tech choice yet, but when you go for a second Adept above like a Stalker or something a bit more stocky, usually you go for a bit of a Stargate just because you need that gas.
Yeah, absolutely, as the Reaper continues to try and get its job done, which is figuring out what the heck sOs is up to. A second gateway before tech and a third gateway immediately implies some kind of pressure, usually getting on the map with a higher gateway count, a bit of a bust attempt on the natural, trying to get some early damage done, and so far Maru doesn't see anything to figure any of that out.
And he will have to find out pretty soon what he's up against, because getting those 3 gateways so quickly, that is kind of scary. You might be wondering, well, what's he going to do with that? There's quite a few things. You can get like Stalker pressure, getting a few Adepts, and getting very, very cheeky. I mean, this bunker, it only does, well, it can only prevent damage at the front of the base. If you get Adepts sneakily inside there, which you very much can do, yeah, you can be in a world of trouble.
Just means you're going to have a higher gateway unit count, then apply pressure with whatever you get off the Twilight Council. So that Twilight Council is going to tell us, I mean, more and more Adepts coming in. It pretty much says it's going to be Resonating Glaives, and that's exactly what we see coming out from sOs. So Resonating Glaives is going to be the choice here, as Maru still trying to figure out what's going on. Checking the third base, still not allowed back at the front, so you can't see gateway timing or anything like that. Very much so kept in the dark. He does see a pylon on the map, though, and that has to start ringing alarm bells.
Oh, I like this pylon down here at the like 6 o'clock spot. It's so far away from your base that you're like, huh, why has he planted something down there? But given that he got that probe and it couldn't plant another pylon even closer to your base, that is a nice start for Maru. He's going for the medevac again. He's going for the Marines back at home, getting a tech lab. I have to assume that's either, well, it's on the factory or the starport, so we'll probably start making some stockier units like a Cyclone tanks, and we actually have a Winter Mine drop on the field as well.
Really want to see this factory starting up something defensive and not just making way for the racks to start up Stimpack, and he does get a siege tank. Wall off starting, maybe he's just seen one too many Adepts plus the pylon. He's like, well, what could it be? You're obviously looking for something here. So Winter Mine drop will continue to the main, apply some pressure, while in the same time, Maru will be looking to defend his natural expansion coming out of a supply block in a moment. He is looking very ready, actually, to deal with this. The first Adepts won't commit in just yet, and the first tank is really not too far off as the Winter Mines into the main base. sOs is meant to respond to this, but he will not. Retargeting from Maru to get 12 probes!
My gosh, but the game is still going. Adepts are going in. He doesn't have all the Marines in the bunker. The SCVs are trying to fight back as well. There's a tank on the high ground dealing quite a bit of AoE damage here, but the bunker, is it going to stay alive? Big repair. He keeps the bunker alive, and the Adepts actually go shade into the tank fire as well. This is a catastrophe for SOS.
Oh, that repair was clutch, and now these Adepts are a little trapped in the corner here. Some more showing up as Widow Mines will be annoying right now. Look at that mining time being lost in the natural. There's no detection here for SOS. He could build a cannon, but that's about the best he can do. As the rest of the Adepts, a few reinforcements showing up. Yes, Maru can't quite mine from his own natural, but SOS, this is so committed because as the game goes on, Adepts do not scale well in PvT.
These wall-offs by Maru have been so clean, by the way. So many Terrans leave this base so open. He shades in again. He's in fire of 2 tanks now. The bunker, yes, he's denying mining, but he's losing everything to do it. And back at home, he's on equal probes to his Terran opponent. You can't be in that kind of position. And Maru's actually kept one of his Widow Mines alive. And now he feels so brazen that he's sending his Raven across the map too. And behind all this, he's actually getting stimmed together. He's getting a large bio army out. SOS is in a world of trouble, taking damage left, right, and center.
SOS cannot stabilize. He is down on workers, and it looks to stay that way. If he hadn't taken so much from the first 2 Widow Mines, maybe, just maybe, he's in a position to start transitioning. However, now, he's in trouble, and he sort of knows it. +1 attack will start, but what's +1 attack doing for you? I mean, eventually, yes, it's going to help out. That's what I wanted to see. A real tech structure here, future for the mid-game from SOS, a Robo Bay. If that gets up and running, sure, but at the same time, you mention it. Big bio army coming up, stims well underway. A push from Maru. He does start 3rd base, so it's not looking like he just wants to go full on in on 2 bases. But he will still have some pressure to apply. Even that could pull SOS apart.
Luckily for SOS, Maru is slowing down the game a little bit. He's gone for the double engineering bay and the 3rd base. I think he was very worried about Maru pushing across the map, which is why he's went for this drop. But he also doesn't have a 3rd Nexus on the way at all. So I think that in SOS's head, he was all about, I've got to slow down this attack that's inevitably going to come. Right? And the answer for Maru is, no, I'm not doing that. I'm actually sitting at home and playing very safe. So the fact that you're not taking a 3rd SOS, if this game goes on, I'm going to be super far ahead. So I love Maru's decision-making. Everything that he's doing this game, he just feels like he's 1 step ahead.
And now SOS is sort of applying the same logic. He sees the 3rd CC and he's like, well, I'm on 2 bases and I kind of need to do something, otherwise you're going to be far ahead. So extra gateways, commit into Warp Prism speed, get charged in Colossi, and perhaps just go for it. He will start a 3rd base. We'll see how much use he really makes of that, because at the moment it's very, very late to what it should be.
Yeah, let's be real. SOS is definitely behind this game. Whenever you go in for an all-in like that and get shut down as hard as he did, you're behind. So SOS has to do some crazy decision-making to get back into this game. So he can either look like a crazy person, it can look really bad, or hey, maybe he makes magic happen. He's been a player in the past that has made magic happen, and miraculous comebacks can happen. But Maru, he's moving out onto the map right now, and he's using a medevac to kind of bide his time a little bit and see if he can move across the map with his main army.
Yeah, he's going to press into the center. Something trailing ahead of the army gets taken down. The Colossus goes into the natural to deal some damage. Marauders are stimming in to help it against it. Widow Mines, Marines in the main base get so many probes. The entire main mineral line is already slayed. The Marauders keep chasing the Colossus, so SOS hasn't found anything, and Maru's all the way across the map. Tanks can start sieging. He's up that typically hard to break ramp. Auto turrets coming down too, and Maru is taking down everything here. The fuse cells will not be enough to tank for this army. The auto turrets keep on going, probes are falling, and Maru cleans up.
Is it happening? Is it possible that Maru could potentially reach? Oh!